Good day, lecturer, Achegbulu David.
Good day to you all. Welcome to the panel discussion on the topic, Recognizing Living Things. Let us begin immediately.
The content of today's panel discussion is as follows. Firstly, we shall be looking at recognizing living things from the definition of living things. Then secondly, we shall look at the characteristics of living things. Then lastly, we shall look at the difference between plant and animals.
Let's get started. Living things can be defined as anything that has life in them. Majorly we classify them as plants and animals, although microorganisms are also included too. Characteristics living things are coded as Mr. Nigerdak, where M stands for movement, R stands for respiration, N stands nutrition, I represents irritability, G stands for growth, E represents excretion, R stands for reproduction, then D represents death, while A stands for adaptation, and finally C represents competition.
It's time for us to hear from our female colleagues.
I want to discuss briefly on respiration. Go ahead. Respiration can be defined as the ability to use oxygen to break down food to supply energy for work. Animals respire through the nose, while plants respire through the stomata. Animals breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, but plant take in carbon dioxide, ampersand releases oxygen into the environment. During respiration, living things take in the gas needed for metabolism, ampersand release the gas for waste. All right. I shall talk a little on nutrition. Nutrition simply means feeding and utilization of the food. It is the process by which organisms assimilate food and use it for growth and maintenance of their body. Animals depend on plant for food, hence, they are called heterotroph. Plants manufacture their food through the help of sunlight, a process called photosynthesis, hence, plants are called autotrophs.
Let us discuss briefly on irritability.
Tell us what you know about it.
Irritability can otherwise be known as sensitivity or feeling. This is the ability of living things to respond to stimuli. Stimuli may be brought about by temperature, heat or cold, touch, pain, light, sweat and foul smell, sound or taste. Living things are able to feel these stimuli using their sense organs. Examples are skin, eye, nose and so on. Living things respond differently to stimuli. For example, animals have rapid response, but plants have slow response to stimuli.
That's great, Mr. Paul Benjamin. All right. I shall talk briefly on growth.
Yes! Fire on.
The irreversible increase in size, weight, and height is growth. Plants' growth is unlimited while animals is limited. Living things grow in size and weight. When living things are given birth to, they grow and increase in size, weight, and height.
Well, I just have a few things to say on excretion.
Oh, I would love to hear it.
Alright. This is the process by which living organisms get rid of their waste product of metabolism. Animals have special excretory organs, but plants have no organ of such. For instance, sweat is removed through the skin, carbon dioxide is removed through the lungs and nose.
Interesting. As a gynecologist, I would like to talk briefly on reproduction.
I really want to listen to your discussion on reproduction.
Reproduction is the process by which organisms produce their kinds. The purpose of reproduction is to ensure continuity of life, ampersand survival. Reproduction occurs in two forms, sexual and asexual. Sexual reproduction involves the union of male and female sex cell for fertilization. Asexual reproduction is the type of reproduction that involves one parent. It is also called vegetative reproduction in plant.
It's my turn for discussion, and I shall be talking about death as a characteristics of living things.
Most time people wonder why death should be a characteristics of living things, since biology as a subject that studies living things or life doesn't focus on death.
All living things must die because they have a definite and limited period of existence. Living things pass through this 5-stage. First is birth. The second stage is growth. The third stage is maturity, while the fourth stage is the decline, or old age. Finally, the last stage, comes death. Death is a characteristic peculiar to living things only. Living things die when they are old, sick, or when they are affected by a disease.
Woo. Ah, thanks for the delivery. Now I shall talk about adaptation.
Go on.
This is a feature possessed by living organisms, which helps make environment convenient for them to survive. Those features of organisms includes modifications of structure, functioning and behavior which fit them for life in their particular habitat. Humans try to adapt to the environment they live in.
Let me round up the characteristics of living things with competition. This is the ability of living things to compete for available resources in their environment. Examples of resources competed for by plants are water, space, sunlight. Animals compete for mate, food, space, water, and so on.
I shall talk on the differences between plants and animals. Most plants are green in color, obviously due to photosynthesis, but animals are multicolored, meaning they have various colors. Plants manufacture their own food, but animals do not. They depend on manufactured food by plant, or feed on other animals for survival. Plants are static, they remain in one location, but as for animals, animals have organs for movement, hence move around from one place to another. Plants have rigid body structure, but that isn't the case for animals. Animals have flexible and jointed body structure. Plants are slow to external stimuli, but animals show fast response to stimuli. For plant, food is stored as starch, but for animals, food is stored as glycogen and fat.
We have come to the end of our panel discussion on the topic, recognizing living things. In our next meeting we shall be discussing another topic. Special thanks to our producer Mr. Achegbulu David and the Avuncular Production. Please for our viewers check us on YouTube at Avuncular Production or Avuncular Movies. Have a nice day.